Good Sunday morning. I'm KHOU meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are tracking quiet conditions here across the Houston area. We're starting off mostly sunny, definitely seeing those conditions just holding off for right now here across the Houston area. Temps are in the upper 70s to lower 80s. 86 in Galveston and Huntsville at 78 degrees. Winds are also a bit more breezy along the coast, so we are expecting to see some rough seas out there if you are heading out to Galveston. So for today, this afternoon, we do have another round of afternoon storms possible. High temps in the mid-90s. I think most of that rain is going to be north of Houston in and around Montgomery County. So we're going to have to really look out for some slow-moving downpours as we do have a marginal risk for flooding. Unfortunately, the hill country still under another round of flooding across the area for today. We're seeing Central Texas under a moderate risk for flooding that does include Kerrville, Guadalupe River, Brady, the Colorado River that stretches into Lake Buchanan, which eventually goes into Lake Travis just outside of Austin. And we are definitely tracking those river levels as well as the situation as another flooding situation is ongoing across portions of the hill country. So you're able to see those major rivers. You have the Colorado River, you have the Guadalupe River that's just north of San Antonio at the current hour. This is as of 8:01 Sunday morning. The National Weather Service out in the Austin-San Antonio area has issued flash flood warnings for torrential heavy rain that has been falling for the past several hours. This does include a considerable threat with it, and it does include the Buchanan Dam out in Lake Buchanan. So hopefully we're tracking those river levels currently right now. So at the current moment where we've seen most of the flooding in the rivers where most of the flooding has happened, it has been the Llano River and the Colorado River. So I think that we've seen up to between 7 to 10 estimated rainfall in terms of the radar indicated rain. So you're able to see where most of that heavy rain has fallen. You have the flow of the Colorado River that goes into Lake Buchanan. You have the Lake Buchanan Dam that there's two dams that protects the city of Austin. You have the Lake Buchanan Dam as well as the Mansfield Dam that's currently protecting the city of Austin. So it's going to be interesting to see those lake levels and see whether or not they're going to open up those dams later on today, as that area has received quite a bit of rainfall. But unfortunately, a flood watch in effect for Central Texas and the Hill Country until 7 p.m. today, and that does include Kerrville and the Guadalupe River. We did hear just at the end of our 6:30 a.m. newscast is that they are suspended rescue operations out near Ingram because of the ongoing flooding threat that continues to take shape across Central Texas. So looking at Future Track, we're tracking this storm system that's currently moving through Central Texas. This is a very slow moving system, and when you have those slow moving systems, that really does increase that flooding threat. You're able to see the major rivers that stretch along the northwest, from northwest to southeast across Texas and portions of the central portions of the state. And so we're going to continue tracking this as heavy rainfall is going to be possible at least through the afternoon through 2 to 3 p.m. And we could see Austin being affected as well as San Antonio being affected by this heavy rain going on. We do have our own fair share of rain chances as well later today. So as we take a closer look at the futurecast for us here across southeast Texas and the Houston area, we're going to be tracking those storms out to the west, but we could see that cause more of a flare-up of those isolated downpours later today between 1 to 3 p.m. It's looking more likely that the heaviest rainfall is going to be occurring north of Houston, so that does include Montgomery County. So if you are in Conroe, if you are in the Woodlands, maybe Magnolia, maybe just outside of Tomball and portions of northwest Harris County, you might want to pay attention to the forecast and keep those weather alerts active on your mobile device, because we could see more of these downpours moving through at least through the 5 to 6 p.m. hour, even though we're starting off mostly quiet across southeast Texas. And eventually, as we get to the 8 p.m., things are going to quiet down. We're going to see calm conditions, quiet conditions in the overnight hours. We're just seeing this trough, this disturbance that's currently situated over the central portions of the state. But going into this week, we have a building high pressure that's going to be moving across the Gulf, and that is going to bring fewer rain chances as well as some higher temperatures. We're going to see those temps skyrocket into the upper 90s, and we very well could not rule out a possible day that we could see some triple-digit temps here across southeast Texas by Wednesday and Thursday of the week. Also, we're tracking the tropics. Lots of activity going on in terms of the weather for the next 7 days. The National Hurricane Center has highlighted an area in the northern Gulf and giving it a 20% chance of development within the next 7 days. Weather models are hinting that we could see a flare-up of a disturbance along a stationary boundary that's currently draped over Florida. And so we're going to have to pay attention to what's going to take shape across the northern Gulf closer towards the Florida Panhandle as we progress through the week. So some development possible in the Gulf by later this week. And so we're keeping an eye on that because even though we're dealing with the flooding situation that's unrelated to any tropics, we still have to pay attention to hurricane season and what could potentially be moving in from the east. So for the next 12 hours here across Houston, high temps in the upper 80s. Keep an eye on those rain chances for today. We do have a chance for some scattered showers and storms, and models are indicating that these very well could be slow-moving downpours for us going into later this afternoon. And like I said, it's going to be mainly north of Houston. We can't rule out a downpour or two making its way into the city of Houston, so be on the lookout for that if you are spending your Sunday outdoors. As far as your 7-day forecast, high temps in the mid-90s for today and tomorrow. We will be seeing mostly rainy conditions last through Monday and into Tuesday. Rain chances are going to start becoming slim to none by Wednesday and Thursday, and that's when those temps are going to skyrocket into the upper 90s. So Wednesday, Thursday is going to be mostly our hottest days that we're going to see for the next few days, and so we are expecting those conditions to remain just sweltering across the area. So just to kind of, if you're just now joining our extended live stream, we are expecting mostly warm and humid conditions for today. High temps expected to ramp up into the mid 90s across Houston. We do have a chance of afternoon thunderstorms. I've said this several times that we could see this mostly north of town for later on this afternoon. So that 50% chance of scattered showers and storms possible for today. But we're also tracking the unfolding situation that's going on out in the Texas Hill Country. They are dealing with another day of flash flooding for all of those rivers that run through the Hill Country, as well as in central Texas. As far as Austin and San Antonio is concerned, we are now tracking some heavy rainfall that has been falling for the past several hours. The National Weather Service in San Antonio and Austin has issued flash flood warnings for portions of a lot of those rivers, which does include the Colorado River as well as the Llano River that snakes up and down central Texas through San Antonio. So I'm going to go ahead and step off screen here and show you what's going on right now. We're seeing most of that heavy rain that is now starting to move in over Kerr County. Unfortunately, you have the Guadalupe River that stretches from east to west, and now they're getting some heavy rainfall at the current moment. I believe the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning for portions of the Llano River that stretches from Junction all the way towards, I believe, Blanco, and it's towards portions of near just outside of Austin. And so this rain is very slow moving. So we're seeing that flooding threat once again be in existence across portions of the Texas Hill Country. Most of the heaviest rainfall has been occurring out along the Colorado River and San Saba River area that is just south of Brownwood. Just to the east of Brady, there was a flash flood emergency that was in place for the San Saba River as that eventually goes into the Colorado River. And so we're tracking those rain accumulations. We've seen close to 7 to 10 inches of radar estimated rainfall for that region. And just so you know where this actually flows into, this is the Colorado River. You have Lake Buchanan. Eventually you have this eventually spills into Inks Lake around just outside of Burnett County, or I believe that's in Burnett County, but this goes into the Mansfield Dam, which is outside of Austin. So Austin's protected by two big major dams along the Colorado River. And I believe the Colorado River goes into Lake Travis. So we're tracking those rain accumulations that are currently taking shape across central Texas. And we'll be looking at the latest of what's coming out of that area. Even though it's not Houston, it's not too far away. This is very well affecting all of us going into the next couple of days, because I imagine a lot of us really vacation out here in the Hill Country, as I have since I've was born. So we are seeing those conditions mostly just still active, unfortunately, and we're expecting those conditions to continue as we look at the statewide future track, and you're able to see the Guadalupe River. This is going to slowly continue to move through central Texas from now at least until 3:30. So as you look at seeing where the heaviest rain is falling, it's really not expecting to move all that much. And so look at the time. It's going to be 3:30 this afternoon is what this future track shows. And we're still going to be looking at those downpours that are just going to remain stationary over the hill country and central Texas. And I believe that is going to hinder any type of recovery efforts that are going on out in the hill country. And so we're tracking that, and we'll be tracking the latest through the morning. And you can definitely get the latest on what's going on out in central Texas in the hill country on KHOU 11+, which will be continuous updates through the day. We will see more of those showers and storms moving into our neck of the woods going into later today. And so just keep in mind that most of the heaviest rainfall is going to be moving into Montgomery County and areas north of Montgomery County. So let's just keep in mind that that flooding risk is going to be more elevated for areas north of Houston. I think that we could still see some downpours at times here across the Houston area, but like we saw yesterday, the rainfall yesterday was north of town in Montgomery County, and it's looking like that's going to be the same thing to shape up for today. As we head through the week, we're going to see this high pressure system move in from the Gulf. That is going to bring some hot conditions as well as those high temps in the upper 90s. We're also tracking an area out in the Gulf that has a 20% chance of development within the next 7 days. So we are expecting those conditions to be very active, not in terms of the rainy summer that we've had, but also the tropics. We can't forget about that, and we can't forget about hurricane season as we go into the next couple of months, because we are seeing just a very active summer. I know it's one of the wettest summers that I've seen here as growing up in Houston. So looking at the next 7 days, highs in the 90s, lows in the 80s. We are expecting showers to last through Tuesday. We're going to have that daily rain chance at least through Tuesday, and then by Wednesday, Thursday, we have high pressure building in, and then we will see that isolated shower chance return by Friday and into Saturday. So definitely expecting those conditions to remain a bit active. And so we're tracking the latest. I'll be tracking the latest what's going on in the hill country throughout the day, and we will be back if there is any significant updates. And as always, you can get the latest information on KHOU.com and on the KHOU 11 app. Just keep an eye out on our weather live streams through the day. I believe meteorologist Pat Kavlin will be back for the 6 p.m. live stream as well as the 10 p.m. newscast. So we are expecting rainy conditions to last through today, even though we're starting off mostly quiet. So keep those weather alerts on your phone. At least have 2 or more ways to receive weather alerts as we go through this afternoon. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez. Have a great and safe rest of your Sunday.